Reviews clash, the fight survives. Jake, his mind torn apart, but vengeance burns inside his heart. Shades of fury, heart race, broken light, choking mind into somewhere raging love, into somewhere dead fight. Jake will ride broken throne, blood will spill, flesh
Слушай,
lights flicker hard on the cheap brick wall. Jake's eyes empty, nothing left at all. Shadows of betrayal stain the air. Used to be brothers, now they don't care. Cody laughs, but the cracks are there. Jake's fist
What's going on, ladies and gents? Woo! How is everybody doing tonight? What's going on, ladies and gents? Glad to have you here for the episode of UCR Live and in Charge. And as always, you know that means I'm not alone. I've got my brother from another mother, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Cody 316.
What is going on?
Yeah.
This is a fun show. I like this.
Yes, it is.
UCR thing
Woo,
because
forgot
we're
my hat.
unfiltered. You can just mention anybody. Oh, wait.
Anything, anyone, and you can challenge them to war games. I had to bring it back. Not a wrestling focused pod by any means today, but we're just all over the board of what we want to discuss. There's been a lot of going-ons lately in the world, so we're seeing a lot of chaos, turmoil. A lot of people started this month with no food stamps, and heading into Thanksgiving, they're hungry, they're concerned, and there's as I've said, I think I mentioned once on air about this lovely story, but there's a part in your brain, your hypothalamus, and your body is powerful enough to shut that off and turn you into a survival state so that you're able to eat human meat. That's why anytime you've heard over the history where like the Donner Party situations happen where they have to survive on humans, and anything cannibalistic. It's not a great scenario, but the reason why you
No.
can eat it and consume it without instantly regurgitating and all that is because your body can shut off that factor. It can shut off the hypothalamus, and unfortunately, it's like, holy hell. I mean, it is a possibility, and you don't mess with people's food, basically, is what I was getting at. And you want to go ahead and be as forward as possible, you know? What's going on, Crazy Horse? Yeah, thankfully people got their stuff back, but yeah, all that stress, it's a gamble, because you're gonna make people snap when you get in the way of someone's ability to survive. You know, you can go without food for a little while, obviously, as long as you got water and whatnot, but you need to eat, you know, it's imperative. I know the food banks here, I was unsure at the end of the day what I was going to do, and I contacted the food banks. They had me going on Friday, and then I was going to go, and it's basically because my daughter's 18, and no one's that's disabled is over 65, there's no seniors, so all that, come back another time. They can't help you at this point, so thankfully, money worked out, and there should be like 40 million people depending on me.
Are you playing music?
I am not. Oh. There we go. Is music been playing?
Hey,
Yay.
I guess so. The whole time.
There we go. That's why we're unapologetic and completely random. So we didn't even get into the pod at this point, and now we can kind of start fresh with our horrible music still playing, right? My AI goodness and what I sing and produce. At least I can
The
clean it
alien.
all up and clip it all up afterwards. Yeah, see, I don't have the
Speaking
music
about
playing in
alien.
my side because I've got you plugged into my ear.
Hell yeah. Wait, you don't have the aliens plugged in your...
I do not. I just have you. You and you alone, my friend. What's going on, Justin?
Well,
Hopefully you're doing well. Now we
let's
worked out all the
get
kinks,
into
no
an
music
alien
playing.
topic.
Let's go for
I
it.
wanna... So, TMZ is reporting that they think that Trump will announce the existence of aliens. What's your take on that?
I mean, talk about weird but true. It would
Do
be
you think
foolish.
this is a distraction from the Jeffrey Epstein files?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. How could it be anything but? They said Trump's name is already featured how many thousands of times in these documents? I mean,
Yeah.
uh,
A lot.
it's funny because we've seen it go both ways, and it's a hoax, it's fake, Russia, it's a scam, it's the Democrats, and now they're trying to, you know, look over here.
Hold
while
on.
they're-
I might be right back if this is true. Mets
Mm.
just made a big trade.
Really?
I have a...
Wow.
Yeah,
We'll have to see what happens there. Alligators in the
I don't
sewer.
like this. The New York Mets and Marcus Simeon for outfielder Brandon Nimmo.
Yes.
Wow. On, I'll be right back.
All right.
I need to ask
You
my dad
gotta
this
you gotta celebrate and go nuts for this one. I mean,
Holy shit.
that's good news for you. What I say is, hey, let it be damned. We go ahead. I see it already. You know, we've got some fights coming up in the future. People are getting desperate, and we're hitting Christmas and Thanksgiving and whatnot. And I just really feel like you're going to see a lot of desperation come from people in need, and that's what I'm more concerned about than anything. And it sucks. I know they changed a lot of the rules on how things like assistance programs such as SNAP is being handled currently. They want people to kind of earn it, and I don't disagree with that at all. You either have to be in some type of like job training vocational program, or attempting to get work, or working just under the guidelines of what you can collect from. But still, you know, there you go. But I wonder what's going to be I mean, this is the catalyst of people going nuts, but what's going to be the event that makes people really be over the edge? And it's got me worried. Got me worried for damn sure, like my co-host disappearing into the moonlit summer night. Biologist bawls eyes out in emotional video upon finding the world's rarest flower after searching for 13 years. I don't know what Cody gave me with this, but uh, I'm all set with that. We were he left me hanging. We're discussing aliens, and it's there has to be life out there. I'm telling you, there's got to be some form of, thank you, extraterrestrial life. There's no way that we're the only ones in this entire, maybe even other universes, but in this universe alone, there has to be something else, someone else, some type of sentient higher being. And I'm not saying that they would even possibly be more advanced than us. A lot of people seem to think, oh, yeah, they'll have everything. What if they're not? What if they're only up to the caveman era at their point? So you never know. I tend to believe it can't be neck and neck. We can't have the same. So where would we be? Are we far too advanced for them, or are they going to be light years and many eons ahead of us? I'm genuinely baffled as to what we'll get from it. But with everything going on with AI right now, it's going to get very difficult to prove what's real, what's not, and what's legitimately happening. I've seen it already quite a few times. People make these videos and they look so hyper realistic, and minus the minus Sora leaving that tag in the corner, it's not going to take much to remove that watermark, and people believe things. I had a family member thinking that they're talking to celebrities online, you know, Jennifer Lopez and Sandra Bullock's making your money. It's not hard to scam people away from their money and prey on them to begin with. And now with AI making it, you know, you could now make yourself into that celebrity. And you can go ahead and be like, hey, this is great. Let's go ahead and, you know, let's make it work. So now I know that they think they're talking to Jennifer Lopez, and I go ahead and I put their name in there. So they go, hey, Carlos, it's J-Lo. I hope you're doing well. Look at my booty shake. Bop, bop, bop. The AI made it for me, and they think they're talking to the real deal. Now they're going ahead and they're out money, and I have access to their bank info. That's what gets me. So, granted, I'm curious to see what they can do to combat against AI being fake. What, you know, what measures can be taken? Because when they were trying to stop AI from being used as a homework tool, they had certain parameters that could be input or followed where it would pop up that like, hey, these terms are more than likely created by AI, or this is how an AI would word things, or this is the way they punctuate, or the way they, you know, spell out and phonetically sound. So they at first were like, all right, you can only use X amount of programs. And they said no AI, but yeah, now they've got it to a point where they're pretty much just going to be able to use pencil and paper and do it right in front of the teacher. But they now have a program that is essentially a screen recorder. So when you sign in to do your homework, it films whatever's on your screen. So it would see if you're transferring back and forth or copy and pasting. It shows how many words you type in a minute. It shows, you know, all these different metrics that you need to go ahead and be doing naturally. So if all of a sudden you've only typed 2 words, but you have the whole thing done, they can tell you pasted it in there. So, but how much privacy are you giving up in those regards? Do they have access to anything else on your laptop? Is it only what we see them seeing? Or do they have access somewhere else? How hard is it to get root access off of that? I mean, we know there's enough vulnerabilities as it is. I could see that becoming a major problem. Absolutely. But oh, I thought we lost Cody. Granted, I don't know what they can do besides, you know, remove the electronics. AI is it's going to be a big tool, and they're saying, you know, what can they do to help combat weaponized AI? And people make the weaponized autism joke. We've heard these type of things before, but weaponized AI says a new era of threats and how we can counter it. Allen Lab for Democracy Renovation and fellow Dr. Wagman lays out a framework to address the threats AI poses to global security and democratic institutions. Yeah, so what they can do is they said, here's a few examples of unique risks posed by AI: psychological warfare and misinformation. AI has emerged as a powerful tool for psychological warfare, enabling the creation of a highly targeted misinformation and deepfake campaigns that can fabricate false diplomatic crises, provoke international conflicts, or incite large-scale panic among civilian populations. I mean, yeah. They have a pamphlet here that is put together and shows you how the architecture of data being misrepresented and what a deepfake is. It takes, X amount of squares of real footage and then overlays it with the AI. So they have Mohammed Al-Adnai saying something that Bashir said instead, but they can, go ahead and put his voice onto his mouth and make his lips move in sync. So it is pretty crazy what they have. And then now the police response to it has been kind of like an overreach in a way. They are managing to try and try as they must. They're trying to stop anything that seems like, if somebody held up a meme, when Hassan was in China and they knocked that down. So all over the world, people are just getting to be, unfortunately, too tied down into it. And I don't know if it's an overreaction, but it's certainly a swift and fierce one. So besides misinformation, you can do things with the election itself. You can manipulate the democratic process. So they were able to fabricate political scandals, alter public records. They can misrepresent the candidates and voters and eroding trust in the electoral process. They can also just steal money and donations and whatnot, cybercrime and financial fraud. They can do an infrastructure attack, and they go ahead and take data from within. And that's what happened to the Democratic Party as a whole. Remember, we had things leaked. They do now have a financial action task force, one of the most effective models of coordination. They set mandatory global standards for financial integrity and compliance. And that's pretty crazy. So basically what they're trying to say is you're going to have to spend a lot of money to combat it because it's a forever job. The issue is, even if I hold up the facts and say, yes, I have proof this is 2 + 2 = 4, that's all well and good, but how many people did you reach with the truth? How many people heard the first lie thinking that it's 5? Well, I have 2 knots and I have 2 knots. And if I tie those together, I have 5 knots. So now it's 2 + 2 = 5. Because you got to tie them. So a little bit of applause. Oh, that makes sense. 2, 2, you make another knot, it's 5, but you have to tie them together. But mine's right. We know that. But theirs looks right. And which one makes you feel smarter? Which one makes you feel like you're correct? I see that, sir. Finishing my thought here. But I basically, when misinformation happens, I said, Cody, if I tell you 2 + 2 = 4, that's the truth. That's real. That's right here. You know it is fact. But how many people do I reach as compared to you said 2 + 2 = 5 because you have a rope and you have 2 knots on one and 2 knots on the other. And when you tie them together, there's 5 knots. 2 + 2 = 5. So now, are you wrong? Well, yes, but yours in a practical application, you're not just doing numbers, you're showing proof too. So people can find with the visual cues that it's easier to side with the misinformation than it is to use logic to get to the actual answer. People will just go with what makes them feel comfortable. So I can go out there and fight every bit of misinformation, but the people that are on the other side are not going to change unless they choose to themselves. We cannot motivate them to change. That's the point. So long and short of it, What do you got for aliens, my friend? We looked up some of the stuff, but we didn't do as much of a
Aliens
deep
overall.
dive as you were looking into.
Uh,
I think we're not alone, obviously. I said I don't know if there's an alien race or anything like that that's more advanced than us. It's possible, but what if
I mean, I
they're
think that's
only in their what if they're in their Stone Age or their cavemen era, and we're just that more ahead of them because of their Big Bang happened later.
that's true, but like at the same time, we could realistically, compared to how advanced they could be, we're still really in a caveman era.
Oh yeah, I mean they could be time traveling and fighting with the real Iron Man.
Have time machine, you never know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if they are visiting here, obviously they're more advanced than us, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if they're visiting here, yes. Originally, the way it was laid out, I was just kind of assuming that you said, if life was discovered. I don't know that if they're visiting us, yes. But what if we discovered on Mars suddenly there's mole people? They've just all been under the ground. There's millions of them. They're just down low, way deep inside. No one looked in the tunnel. It's like, how do you feel then? And
That's a way to describe it.
yeah.
Deep inside.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, I'm not sure exactly. Like, I don't know if we'll ever find out the truth. Like, if we interacted with them, are they going to be friendly towards us? Though, because that's actually also scary.
Yeah.
If they're visiting here, you don't know their true
What are their
intentions at the end of this,
intentions?
because
Yeah. What's their motive? Are they heel or face? I had to. I'm sorry. I
I'm
had
going to say
to.
face.
Name
Their face, Jake.
Aliens appear. I believe in getting abducted. All right.
Do you believe in any of the abduction stories that people try to view?
I want to believe. No, I don't. I think 98% of it all is true mental trickery or mental illness or whatever type of label you want. It's your mind playing tricks on you. It's your brain. You see things. I saw people the other day, and I thought everybody knew this by now, but one of the WWE wrestlers was, or maybe it's TNA, regardless, they were freaking out. Like, look in the sky. What is that? Is that a UFO? And it's the Starlink satellites. They make a line and they blink. Like, maybe 10 years ago, people still were like, whoa. But to me, it's past that point. So, I don't know. I wonder, as I said before, if they were visiting us, I think they would be likely some type of pacifist or not looking for war if they're coming out here, and if it's not an armada and they're not ready to, if they were coming to fight, then what sucks is too our weaponry. You think of like nuclear missiles and stuff, most of our weapons fuck us up too. Like it either blows up part of our planet or fucks up part of, or makes it uninhabitable or whatever it is. So it's like, watch, they'll have these super advanced lasers that just make things turn into, flowers and garden, beautiful, just grass and everything. And ours is just destroying the earth and blowing it into smithereens and making it so no one can live there for the minimum of 500 years.
So, another thing, though, like they've discovered other Earth-like planets, right?
Yes, several. I mean, Europa, the moon of Jupiter. They say that's supposed to that's supposed to be habitable. Yeah,
suns are around those planets, so like, and they rotate. So like,
yeah.
What
definitely.
are the chances that they look like us? Exactly.
Part of me have wondered that before too, because they would have had to spawn from some initial DNA source, and it looks like we from primates had that. And
there's this one, like maybe millions of years ago, like these like planets had contact with each other. Some people say that like they, how countries like Japanese people, like Chinese people, like so they sent like the people that were on like the planet that were Chinese to this section of the world. That's why everyone's like kind of separated
Gotcha.
in one part of the
right.
land. What do you think of that
I mean,
rumor?
I really don't know, but it does make like there is some logic to it, right? I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I love conspiracy theories. I love whether it's the silliest thing, like with Shane Dawson talking about the Chuck E. Cheese pizza. Is it reused because it never lines up right? It never makes an even circle. All these little, like, you know, jokey things, but then you get into bigger stuff and more serious matters. And to me, extraterrestrial life is very serious, but it's also in a way fun and inconsequential at this point in time. I would believe that they would be here to be faces. You know, they'd be nice, and maybe they'd share us some wisdom, and maybe they're here to help us fix global warming, you know, something like that. I could envision. They're like, hey, listen, we see you doing this. We don't want your planet destroyed, so we're intervening. And like you said, have everyone locked in certain areas, stay that way. It works. I don't know.
I'm looking up more. What else is there to discuss, you think, here? Like, I'm trying to look up something. The moon is a giant alien surveillance station. Have you heard of that?
I have heard that, and you figure because we haven't gone back to the moon in how long now? Like they just like I know if I was in NASA, I'd be like, it's Thursday. You know what that means? Everyone's like Moon Day, and we all load up the rocket and we go to the moon. Like that's what I would do. You know what that is? Come on, guys, get in the moon rocket. Is there flying? Dynamite. Whew, I just survived 20 G's. Right into the chest. Did we ever go to the moon? Of course we did. Right?
I'm mixed on that, honestly.
You know we did.
Mm.
I believe we did go to the moon. I feel like we went, but I know people are like, oh wait, there's reasons they haven't gone back as much as they did, and because there's a lot of junk left up there. We got rovers and modules.
My friend sent me a fun conspiracy. This is like back in the 90s cartoons. Like what do you think of this conspiracy theory? I'll send this to you.
Uh-oh.
Right here. Hold on. And he sent me this. Okay. You ready?
Ben ready.
Tell me what you think of this.
Okay. All cartoons from the 90s. Rugrats, Hey Arnold, etc. take place in the kids' imaginations because they actually live in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Believe it or not the first time I've heard something like this with the shared universe, and it makes me wonder, you know, had it ever been discussed, and that's why people discuss it, but
Right.
yeah, Kubrick filmed the moon landing, yeah, from that specific one, but I do think we've been there. Shared universe thing, some of the people in the comments think it's trash. Paul says, I'm not against it, but everything in the head, you know, was like a cool thing to do. It was such an overused trope for a while. And then it's all in my mind, it's all in my brain, it's in my head. It got really
I'm reading
just
ones on Twitter.
yeah, but it just got really old and repetitive. This one is very, very, very surface level. Like if they went in and explained why they believe this, not just, hey, isn't that a cool thought? But like, well, you see Tommy Pickles, really? He's missing a testicle because the other one was undescended. And Angelica, how the hell do I remember this now? Angelica was like, oh, my poor brother, he's going to be made fun of for only having one descended testicle. The ladies aren't going to like that. So she goes and she kicks him square in the ball. Not balls, because it didn't come down. And what that does is it actually forces the other testicle that wasn't descended to pop out. Problem solved, right?
Interesting.
Nope, not quite. Because now that original testicle is lodged. So
Lodged where?
lodged in his sack, like it won't come out. So that one's up. The other one's free now. So he's still one ball Tommy. We just didn't get any progress really. It just switched from one to the
Fair.
other. So now
got
he's
enough.
panicking, and did we get to the make it connect. Make it connect to this shared universe. I'll bite.
Got to
But
make it connect. Fair.
I know I'm
Is global
terrible
warming
state
a
right
hoax?
now. But no, global warming's not a hoax. We have seen things of it right before our very eyes. What's going on, Mohammed? Hope you're doing well. He says, hi and good evening. Happy Sunday. On a Sunday night, hope you're doing well. And the same with everyone. Glad to have you here. Hope you are doing well and staying sexy, my friend. We're getting ready for Thanksgiving in the States over here. We've got a busy week of content. Tomorrow with the turkey-themed Raw review. Tuesday, the gobbledygooker myself will be taking on anybody that wants to join in for the community. I will post how that'll break down for predictions for our favorite upcoming match, War Games. Then Wednesday into somewhere weekly kind of holiday edition. Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, I'll be there at some point in time in the afternoon to sit with you lovely folks, and maybe we'll have a dinner together. Saturday is War Games. We'll be live after War Games goes off the air. Gonna be a great time. Oh, we'll have the Raw review on Monday. Yes. NXT is taped, and I have listed the spoilers for NXT already. Then at the end of our SmackDown review from this Saturday afternoon, we also included the SmackDown spoilers. So, yes,
you
indeed.
give us a topic, Jake.
Oh, I you just asked me one. I'm sorry, and you said is that, and I didn't get to hear you, but
I think I said global warming, and you said global warming.
yes, global warming is real because, I see how drastic all of the weather has been affected just on that surface level.
I'm going to give you controversial ones after you finish your rapid fire.
You figure basically it's, we used to get a little bit of an Indian summer, but now it was hot and then it's ice, freezing cold. There's no spring and there's no fall. We missed those seasons now. It goes winter to summer, summer to winter, and that's it. Nothing else in between. So it gets to be a bit of a chaotic mess. And then we would have certain moments where it wasn't so bad, but now all the time it's either absolutely freezing or you're boiling. This summer was so hot, hottest days on record over and over and over again. So it was going to be the coldest ever in winter. We're getting snow and Halloween, months before we usually get it. Yep. It's just, there's a lot of signs and things. So we messed up pretty bad.
Rapid fire.
Let's go. Rapid fire. We got Nate in the chat. What's going on?
Was deliberately released in a lab.
Yes. We knew it came from a lab. It was in Wuhan. It was developed basically as an alternate to the flu vaccine, and they were working on stuff, but intentionally released. Yeah.
Yep. The 2020 U.S. election was rigged.
No. I don't believe so.
Okay.
I surprisingly enough, I don't believe so, but what I think was things were already determined to go a certain way no matter what. If that catches in, like they let the American populace vote, but regardless, they were going to frame it in a way where even if he had gotten reelected, they were probably going to try and arrest him for the 6th or done something to keep him from being back to back.
So they had plans for him.
Yes.
Okay, this is a little more controversial.
Uh-oh.
9/11 was an inside job.
Okay, I know this is probably never seen the light of day on YouTube. No, I know that in my heart, I feel like there's two truths to this, essentially, and the real truth's in the middle. I'm going rapid fire as fast as I can, but with this one, it's a little bit more nuanced. Here's the thing. I feel like certain people knew. Not a lot, certain. And certain things were done to make sure it went down. But I feel like the CIA, FBI, all of that, like they intercepted threats and never acted on any of these accordingly, which they did to a lot of them because they would look at things and be like, oh, yeah, right. Like They didn't have the time or the manpower, the resources, or availability to investigate every false claim that came through. But they had claims with these people. And one of the things that makes me stand out the most about this theory is because one of the planes that didn't take off had 5 people aboard. There was one businessman, 5 people aboard in the same area. So there was one businessman, and then there was a woman, very tall, in a burqa, so only her eyes were showing. And then there was a couple other passengers with them, like security detail or whatever they said. And really what it was is there was a man under the burqa outfit, the flight attendant said, and they noticed because why? The hands were hairy and looked like man hands. That you can't hide pretty much too well. So they ended up not being able to take off because the report came through about the hijacking, and they rushed off the plane quickly. Like they left their stuff on there, all of that. And that's when they had found box cutters behind the seats in some of the air rows, the rows of the airplane. So hearing all of that on, documentary this year, it was with Discovery or the Learning Channel, one of the two, but they went ahead and posted this whole big thing, and it was just very telling. So I think there's more was planned to happen. They were going to hit more targets. For whatever reason, they didn't get the other planes either in time or off the ground. I think United 93 or whatever, the one over Pennsylvania, was shot down. The way it looks, the way everything is scattered. If you crashed, you wouldn't have things scattered like that for miles and miles and miles away. It would be pretty much in a plummeted, centralized location. This looked like it got blown up in the air and then landed everywhere. They said they had like 10, 15 miles in some instances finding pieces of clothing. Right. That's quite the explosion. So I do believe that, innocent people were killed, obviously, and a lot of, so it happened, but it happened with certain people in the know about it, and either not taking it credible or knowing that it could lead to their pockets being lined of the war machine turning and burning. Because Bush was set to make just as much, like Colin Powell and Cheney, they were all set to make billions off the war machine getting back up off the ground. Pratt and Whitney, Sikorsky, everything near and dear to our hearts in Connecticut. What a job they had firing back up. Remember, it became a big deal with the substation, and they're like, oh, if they attack us over here by the substation, they have nuclear subs. With that, they had to do a whole classification clearance of being like, oh no, this is good, this is bad, this is okay, those type of things.
How about this one? This is a basic one. Are Republicans and Democrats the same thing, but they just play different characters on camera rather than they do behind the scenes?
Most times, yes. I feel like...
You think they're in it together behind the scenes?
Most times they want the same things. People. There's just a few very specific few topics that they don't share the same outlook on. So they make arguments out of everything else because of those. But abortion is usually the biggest. And then stuff to do with healthcare and then finances. But if you can get through that, yeah.
Right. What? Give me one.
Conspiracy theory?
Yeah. Or anything.
I'm trying to think. All right. Oh, hold on. Do I want to go? Let's see. I'm trying to look through here for ones we haven't discussed much of. I mean, do we have anything that's... What about chemtrails? The stuff you see in the sky behind is around clouds. You see those ripples, sometimes called contrails. Do you believe that they're dispersing chemical agents into the atmosphere?
No.
People have been saying that 76 out of 77 participating atmospheric chemists and geochemists stated that they had seen no evidence to support chemtrail theory, and they stated that the chemtrail theorists rely on poor sampling. So they're saying it's never has been, it never really was a thing, but I could see it being realistic. Do you remember Malaysia flight 370? It was like MH370. They were flying,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden they were just like bloop off the radar and done.
Yeah.
What do you think happened?
I do not know.
I see a lot of people think because the plane was reintroduced as Flight MH17 the same year, and then it was shot down over Ukraine for political purposes. So they said the responsibility for the disappearance relies with the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, and they said that basically hackers took over a autopilot supposedly installed on board, remotely piloting the aircraft to Antarctica, and then they crashed. But some people are saying no, they landed and they're somewhere else. I think they got shot down and then they just tried to cover it and not let anybody know what happened.
Right. I could. Yeah, I think getting shot down is the more likely scenario, and unfortunately, that's what happened.
Are there any celebrities that
There's
are,
this Titanic sub. Remember this?
yeah, the
Whole
the
story
one oh
that
yeah,
the
I followed
submarine was
that.
going to visit the Titanic.
Yes, yeah, Ocean Gate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you think that was a planned
No,
disaster? Or...
no. His hubris is what failed him. His ego. Anybody else would have seen and when you go that many fathoms deep into the ocean, like the pressure is incredibly powerful, and I don't think people understand to the magnitude in which it's powerful. And
Yeah.
when those people died, it happened. They said in like 0.5 seconds, their bodies turned to gel. So
How far did they even make it down?
almost to the floor. They were the submersible, what was left of the submarine that they could recover, and them was all in the scattered along the ocean floor.
Do you think they knew they were going to die though before it exploded? Do you think
So
they knew that was
well, it didn't
coming?
explode; it imploded. You gotta remember, big difference. It literally sucked
yeah,
itself
that's fair.
inward. So when the hull went, he said the aft is creaking, meaning the back of the boat, and he's like, I keep hearing crackling noise. That must have been the carbon fiber body not allowing any room or shift in movement, so it was creaking as the pressure increased. So they heard it cracking and crumbling around them because they have weights attached to their sides. So this way they don't have to use all of their like power. They can go ahead and use the weights to keep themselves lowered. And then if you have an issue, you ditch the weights and you surface. Well, they're trying to surface, they're trying to surface, they're calling off the mission, and the right engine dies, and they don't know why. It just stopped working. The left engine is kind of making them sputter. They didn't get enough of like oomph to get going, so now they're just kind of sputtering, and they're communicating to the boat via text message through all this. They're using like I forget the actual lingo for it, but they don't have service or anything down there. There's no walkie-talkie service or anything, so they're communicating strictly through text messages. So they're going back and forth, and they're like, "B battery's dead. Try the alternative. This is screwed." You know, all these type of things, and we go ahead and we see them just panic-stricken, but they're still trying, and they end up ditching the ballast weights. So now they're moving up and they're ascending, but very slowly. And they descended in record time, like they were going much faster. Now we know because the carbon fiber hull was breaking and crumbling around them, it was literally just shifting and shifting. So that was causing, it wasn't taking on water, but it was taking on water within the cracks, and that would cause them to have like imagine like you're being pushed down. That's essentially what it was doing for you with the force. So now they're being pushed down at a faster rate. They almost get to the bottom of the ocean floor. They're way off from the Titanic. I mean, it's not that far from them, but you can't see with the disorientation and whatnot. Next thing you know, they're trying to get back to the surface. They can't. Their time goes on, goes on, goes on. They don't hear anything. And that's when the Navy reported hearing an implosion. So what upset me was the Navy heard that noise because they have microphones, I guess, all over the fucking ocean to check for these things. They managed to go ahead and record the implosion sound, knowing that people, you know, eventually are looking for this submarine. they allowed people to think like, oh no, they're in the water and we got to find them before oxygen runs out. We've got to find them before they can't breathe anymore. They're probably surfaced and floating on the, the actual ocean, and no one can find them because that was another design flaw. There's no way to get out. You have to be let out from the outside only. They literally screw you into the pod. So the Titan manages to claim its victims, but without ever being able to let go of them. Absolutely ridiculous. So now they have no way to escape, and they only have 96 hours of oxygen if they were still alive. So the media has all of their countdown timers. Everywhere you look, they're how much oxygen do they have? Do they have a chance tonight at 11? And we'd see that all over. It was crazy. And yeah, I don't think any of this was a conspiracy theory. I think this guy thought he was indestructible. Everybody told him this won't work. Carbon fiber's not made for this, blah, blah, blah. Everything that he was defiant and up against, he basically did out of spite or to be proven, prove somebody wrong. And in the end, he cost 3 people their lives and his. And it sucks that he oversimplified the amount of danger that they were in. And that young boy died. He didn't even want to get on there, but he did it with his father. And, they both perished because asshole here thought it was a good idea to pilot a submarine with a PlayStation 2 controller and a hope and a prayer.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go on it if I knew it was controlled by a PlayStation 2 controller, to be honest with you.
Which isn't uncommon.
One of the more sad things about this, though, is that there was this kid that was like, I don't know if I really want to go on it. And
that's what I'm talking about.
Him, come on,
yeah.
Come on. Yeah.
It wasn't even the dad. It was the owner that convinced him. And then his dad went along with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. All that kind of shit is scary. I don't know if I would ever go on a submarine myself. I think that's not for me.
I mean, I've seen a few being at Groton Sub Base, and they're big, but imagine all those people on there. That's tiny. That is very claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they were under that much pressure that when the hull broke, the inside literally just went like that in half a second. So first, all the oxygen in their lungs flash boiled, and then they turned to instant putty as their bodies were sucked with immense force inward. So all of the air in their chest just out quick. And then next thing you know, the surrounding walls would just suck them up. And that would be it.
So, but that's what my point. So, because there was like the recording of knocking or whatever. So did they know their fate? But I know they didn't feel it probably. Right?
Yeah, but the knocking was the whole creaking. But the problem is that the media shared these things like, oh, look, they're knocking. We're looking for them. We can hear them. But the Navy already heard the implosion sound. Like they knew, without a doubt. That's what sucks.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, I'm trying to find
scary situations to be in there. Like, what would you rather do if you had to choose one? Skydiving or going in a submarine? What's you doing?
Skydive. I think at least if I'm going to go out, I can have a good view on the way out. What are you going to do in the ocean floor? Just look at it and really, I mean, when you get to something, it's cool, but I mean, up until then, I don't know what you're doing. So, yeah, I mean, you look at this is how they found parts of the craft, and I guess the inner part they put a cloth up when they pulled it up from the water because it was so loaded with like blood and human remains and all that. But that's what was left there. So that's where this is the back end, I believe, and there's one of the propellers and stuff, but it landed like straight up that way. And you can see, there's one of the propellers and things like that. You had that was the robot looking for everything, and it's crazy. Like, look, you're in the deepest part of the ocean, and you find plastic bags and a school chair. Craziness.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, looking through all of these, and apparently they had they, like I said, they tried to get back up, but they just weren't able to, which is really upsetting. But shouldn't have been that willing to go in the first place, you know?
That's fair.
Uh-huh. I'm trying to think if there's any other conspiracy theories. AEW is full of a-holes. Yeah. WWE is a
Ooh,
supreme
that's a good
leader.
one.
Chris is onto something. You know, I quickly talking about Full Gear, we had a really great amount of coverage, and you guys should go ahead and check that out. And we appreciate it if you do so, because we
Here's a
covered
fun
everything under the
conspiracy theory.
sun. What's that?
Are sports scripted? Like WWE,
Ooh,
AEW, stuff like that.
I wonder. You know, that's not a worse question to be asked, because there's a lot of times. Here's the submersible. It should load it. If it does it, no, go back. You know, play. You were gonna go poop. You were gonna go pop. Pop. There you go. It's exactly what it does. That quick too, like instantly. You're a red mist. That fast. The whole thing is gone. I mean, it's hard to fathom with that many fathoms, you know, but no, really. Go one more time on this. I mean, it's so hard to comprehend. It is hard to fathom, pun intended, like I said, because it's what? It's an impossibility in our minds to have anything move that fast. Look at, even in super slow motion, that's how quick that crumbles up. I mean, the red mist is just what's left. That is human to red 40 transformation. Human transformation. It just keeps coming out like Austin Powers. Transformation. Oh, come on. Complete. You see this, Cody? I mean, this is nuts.
Yeah, let me see. That's
And then right there, it's done.
oh Jesus. Yeah.
And in such a grueling manner, but you don't feel anything. Like the Byford dolphin experiment, the guys had themselves, you know, dealing with some atmospheric pressure when the hatch didn't close properly and it sucked them to pieces. When I said I wanted to get sucked to death, that is not what I meant. It looks like Battlestar Galactica and Star Wars, right? I think the only one really spreading conspiracy theories nowadays is Elon Musk, and he's doing it in the form of memes, so we could say he's
Well,
just
Elon
kidding.
Musk said that Trump was on the Epstein files, did he not?
Yeah, and he was what 1,500 times mentioned in just the start of the stuff already.
Yeah. So why do you think Trump wants to now release them all of a sudden?
I mean, I really don't know at this point. What are your thoughts? You clue me in first, and
I honestly think if he were in them, like why didn't Biden release the files?
because there was people that Biden wanted to protect, they said, supposedly, allegedly. So as much as he wanted to get Trump, he knew that if he got Trump, it would also be at the behest of whoever he's close to.
Alrighty. So do you believe both scenarios are wrong? Because
Yeah.
people will politicize it more because it's Trump,
Yes,
I think.
absolutely. And that was their intention all along. You know, they wanted to go ahead and cause a stir. They wanted to have media and eyes and news, everything on them.
Yep.
No doubt about it. I liked Elon at one point too. I wasn't ever crazy about the guy, but I liked it. Like you kind of saw, all right, he's nerdy, he's geeky, one of us. He's pretty funny, you know, he does some meme stuff, but this is like 2014 time around there. And he was doing like the silly stuff, so it was all right to be cringy together. Like everybody was laughing at their own jokes, and because you're just being an idiot. But he was also doing big things with Tesla coming out, and you're like, oh, cool. He's kind of relatable. He's quirky. Then you get to know him, and he names his kid a letter that's not even in the alphabet, and the way he's romantically involved with people, it's all like one big 50 Shades of Grey contract session. Like all of it is just bartering in court. I get pussy visitation on the weekends. You get the cock every day that ends in Y. Pretty much like it. I don't know. And keeping it in line, like I said too, with what he said about Trump, like oh he's in the files. Yeah, we knew this already that he was going to be. I don't think Trump
Like,
was
then why
into
are you working with him? Like, is my
yeah,
thing.
so I don't think Trump was ever into young. I really don't. I highly doubt it. I think he
So you
likes
believe him
women.
a bit?
I believe the women that have come out and no one's accused him directly. I think that if someone had the chance, they would pretty clearly. I know that he's an ostracizer and a womanizer and a misogynist, and he's made all these crazy comments and he's done terrible things. But with this, I don't see it as him being like the sole proprietor of it or the direct guilty one. And how I take it is that Trump went ahead and he's very big socialite at that time. No politics, you know. He handled the Miss America pageant. Trump, I think, liked girls. He liked them young, like 18 young, but I don't think he wanted them younger than that. By the comments that he made, like he wanted a hot 18-year-old that he can, you know, grab her by the and that was that.
Yeah.
So he goes ahead and I don't know, you make all the comments and you see the way it breaks down, but to me, it doesn't feel like that's really the case with Trump here. And as you pointed out, so many people would have buried Trump. Trump was out of office in 2020. You think Biden wouldn't have released this, you know, if it really would have been that final nail in the coffin, the last gun in the, you know, the last bullet in the gun, something. But lo and behold,
no.
that's not what we got. So it's either, you know, refusal or inability, and it seems to be a bit of both. So
Right.
George W. took a lot of crap from the media. So did Rumsfeld and Cheney took. Yeah, they all took a lot of crap. A lot of people, you know, gave things, disproportionately to them and misappropriated where their bad thoughts should be. Realistically, I mean, that was most of the problem. That war was basically set to go ahead and happen only because of oil. It felt like, you know, we're gonna we're gonna get him back for 9/11. We're gonna get him back, and then.
Do you think there will ever be a World War III?
Like a real, yeah.
Yeah.
I do. And I hope I'm wrong, but it seems like I'm thinking like in the next 10 years time, we could really see the way this country is so shared in its split division and how massive
Will we ever
nasty
see
they
martial law again?
Not to the extent where it's like a full takeover. No, I really don't believe so. What do you think, sir? Did I lose you?
Martial law?
Oh, there we
Martial
go.
law or World War III?
Both.
World War III, I do see it happening, but the issue is with another World War III, technology and weapons have advanced so much than the previous war, so it can be way more catastrophic with a lot more deaths, unfortunately.
Yeah,
That's why you want to
they have
prevent it as much as
superpowers
possible.
now, exactly, and a push of a button can wipe out a third of the population. Not,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but that seems to be a common sentiment.
And martial law,
Yeah,
I could see it with Trump somehow. I don't know, like some distraction. So.
yeah, he's in office and he wants to clear up some of the stuff surrounding his name before it gets out. Maybe wouldn't be the craziest thing, but he just can't run again. No, you know, he's stuck. He got 2 terms, so he's fighting for
He's
it.
trying to find a way around it.
Yeah, and I hope that that's not the case. Just not because it's Trump, but because that's been our system
If
for
that's
so
the
many
case,
years.
though, who runs against him? Because people said they'll bring Obama back to face him.
I bet you would be the New York City guy, Mamdani. whatever his name is. I think because they just had him and Trump meet and kind of like agree to disagree kind of thing. You could tell that they didn't support each other 100%, but they were civil enough to get through it. And I don't know. I could picture
You don't think
him.
if Trump's running for a third term, they want to bring in Barack Obama?
I don't think Obama
wins
would
that?
want to, but Trump, I think, would win over Obama because of how piss poor everything will be. He'll probably have more control by then.
Who would you rather have doing those two?
I'd go back to Obama. He was good about, trying to keep the workforce up and keep bills down as much as possible. So,
Yeah. Any questions you got?
no, actually, surprisingly for once, I've gone through my list substantially. I was looking at silly shit like this one man, he said he survived. You ready for this? This heinous experience? I'm not exaggerating. He has a broken...
After this,
Yeah.
go ahead. After this?
Yeah.
Okay, go. You want to do the drawing thing after this?
Unfortunately, I don't have it installed on the new drive right now, so I'm in the middle of transferring. But I've got some other Jackbox games that I want us to play as too. You don't know, Jack is like a game show type show. It's a shit ton of fun, so I want to get that all installed as well. Yeah, this UK man survived. You ready? He sustained a broken neck, fractured spine, broken and smashed ribs. He had a tension pneumothorax because his lung collapsed from having blood inside of it. These car crash level injuries were caused by his cat.
Oh my God.
Yep, October 23rd, it was in the evening, and he was home alone with his hairless Egyptian Sphinx kitten, Eric. And disaster struck when the witty kitty, apparently feeling playful, dove out and latched onto one of its owner's legs while he was coming down the stairs. He said he took a chunk out of my leg, and then I lost my footing. He said, I tumbled down 14 steps all the way to the bottom where I was unable to move, and you certainly put hell in Hello Kitty. Yeah, I would say so. He said, my phone was dead. I couldn't get up. I physically couldn't move. It was the hardest sensation. I had to lay there in 14 hours in a pool of my own blood to wait for help. Wow. 14 hours he waited to get someone to come and call 911. I wonder who finally got a hold of it. Or he said it wasn't until the next morning that the immobile vocalist's wife and discovered her husband spread eagle at the bottom of the stairs. She said, I get home about 8:30, but that day I got held back and I didn't get home till about 10. Oh, Jesus. She said, I opened the door and heard him screaming and saw the blood. He was saying, oh, you're home. Help! Yeah, by this time he dragged himself upwards on the landing. She couldn't stand her partner's screaming. And that's what it says. She said, Jackie then dialed emergency services who arrived within minutes, whereupon she quickly left the room as she couldn't stand his screaming. She said, we didn't know how bad his injuries were at the time. I thought he was being a baby. They really drug him up and move him.
That is...
What a sweet wife.
Yeah.
He said, I can't explain the pain. I realized I cut my head as well. I didn't know how much I'd cut until I saw the blood. And later on, they told me about all the injuries. I mean, he got fucked up. The most I've ever done falling, and that is a violent pussy indeed. The only thing I've ever done falling, like I've dislocated or broken things, but not to that extent.
Nate sent in a few things. I'll read them real quick. Bret Hart was interviewed. When MJF's name was brought up to Bret Hart, Bret didn't know who he was. He said, MJF, who's that? Just curious. So who it is? Oh, AEW wrestler. As you can tell, I don't watch a lot anymore.
Yeah.
So, and he also said he's heard that Brock Lesnar. Hold on. Bret Hart says he heard that Brock Lesnar is a professional, unlike Goldberg. I would like to have wrestled Brock Lesnar. I've always understood that Brock Lesnar. I heard that he wished that he had wrestled me a few times. And I've always heard from different guys that Brock Lesnar is a professional. He's really good. He's not like Goldberg. Bret Hart paid
Yeah,
for
no
Goldberg.
kidding.
I'm just saying he knows what the wrestling is all about, and he does it right. And some guys like Goldberg never understood it ever. There was a few more. Bret Hart also said that current day wrestling. Bret Hart says that he has a hard time watching today's pro wrestling because it's too fake for him. I'll be honest. I have a hard time watching today's wrestling. I just can't really watch it. It's too fake for me, but I love watching wrestling, the old 90s wrestling. Like when I watch my matches back, or in almost any match, Stampede wrestling matches, there's something about the realism, the punches, the kicks, and even just the way the presentation is. It just seems to me to be more put on the workmanship of learning the craft of being a wrestler.
So I mean, hell of a thing.
And one
Damn.
more
Yeah.
from Bret Hart. Bret Hart, hates everything.
Yeah.
Just to let you know. Bret Hart calls Sheamus punches an embarrassment. I see other guys throwing punches and they open their hand least the second they slap the guy, and then close it by the time that's pulled back. Whoever wrote this, do better with your grammar, please.
Yeah.
Who's the Irish guy? Sheamus does those all the time. I see him and I'm like, why don't you take 10 minutes and go down to have someone teach you how to throw a punch instead of throwing that embarrassment of a punch?
That sounds like Bret Hart.
He was also shitting on Gunther, I heard a month ago.
Yeah, he wasn't happy with him either. And
What do you think about Sheamus's punches?
I don't think Sheamus is that bad. I really don't. I think he's
Does Bret Hart hate everything?
Yeah, Bret is just very, he scrutinizes. Like he's very, very, very picky and very technical. So he likes to overly examine things. And the number one injury for Thanksgiving is fires caused by frozen turkeys into deep fryers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that you have to defrost the turkey. You can't throw anything frozen into a deep fryer. It makes it explode.
Jesus
the reaction
Christ.
of the temperature. Yeah, ice makes it go kapooey. That's why you see like TikToks where people put ice in there to make it go ba-boom. And then you got fucking liquid hot grease coming at you like a volcano's magma, just rolling down the lava. Horrible. So...
who would have thought that you have to defrost a turkey?
Right. Well, a lot of people don't, and they think, oh, I don't need to defrost it. I could just drop it in there. And I saw one where the guy dropped it in, put the lid on, and finally the lid blew off like 20 feet into the sky, and the bird right there after with him. Ba-boom! Oil everywhere on fire. Just, I've done a couple of deep fried ones, and this year we're doing like a squash turkey, I guess Danny called it. It's like a squash thing, so you break the breastbone and you pull it all out and you basically like flatten it, and then it's supposed to cook juicier and more together and faster.
Right.
So hell if I know. I'm just drinking it. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna drink that night too. That'd be my dinner.
You can drink, Remember that thing you told me you were gonna drink?
Yeah, no more dog. I can't. My stomach can't take it anymore.
You got anything else for us, champ?
Yeah, I mean, I basically just I have this notice here. It says, "Dear Jake and Cody from UCR, the infamous little blue pill that keeps men up and at 'em is now known to improve a different kind of hardness in hearing, that is. A new study reports that Viagra has a reverse effect, not adverse, a reverse effect on frequently permanent type of inherited hearing loss. So you were going to see seniors walking around with erections everywhere now because what do you know? They'll be able to hear it coming and they'll be able to handle it. I don't think Ben took the little blue pills. I don't think he needed them anyways, but something about his wife's a whore and he didn't want to be near her. 3 in 2,000 people are born with auditory impairments. I'm one of those. I have a processing disorder. So the good news is that popping a Viagra could come with a perk beyond the bedroom. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Investigation highlighted the mutation in a gene called CPD, which results in a form of deafness known as sensorineural hearing loss. Interesting.
Right.
So scientists said they were able to isolate it, and when they do, if you treat it with the Viagra, what it does is it's the blood flow that increases that helps it. So the enzyme maintains levels of the amino acid engine, and then it produces nitric oxide. So it sends signals to the nervous system that it's working. So the anyone with CPD, their neural pathway is disrupted, so they don't get like a clear signal. But if you do this, it helps restore full connection.
Ooh.
Pretty crazy, walking around with a heart on, and I can hear you
gonna test
clearly. Say what? Come
I said,
again?
are you gonna test it?
Come again?
Oh, gee.
No.
Jesus.
Sorry.
You are right, Nate. It's going to be an emotional day on December 13th for Cena's last match. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get my wife to finish, singing some of the new intros. But she was messing around. I told her to do like a Judas Priest Van Halen mix with me. And I think it's coming out pretty cool so far. We got,
Is I Believe in Cody gonna be in the yearly awards that we're doing?
I think it might have
Best
to
of
be.
2025?
It might need to be nominated. We'll see, because I Believe in Cody Onidi has been topping the charts. But this is what we're working on for our
Cody's Clues is also in there.
our War Games review. Van Halen, like I said, and Iron Maiden. Just a preview. It needs a lot of work still, but still working on some different stuff from the vault of my mind.
Love to see it.
Hey, I like
Let's
making
play
the
Cody's
themes.
Clues, but we have to play all the bangers.
Oh, I know. That's our ultimate exit. You even got your own button. I mean, that's the best part of it all. I just have to forget Cody's Clues. I just got to hit this one.
Take beside him, it's so pretty. From many a talk to rumble roars. Cody Onetti, let's hear some more.
Yeah, I mean, it's just got so much raw power to it. I love it. I love it. Where is it? I need to make a permanent button out of this one. Whoa!
Hey there, friends, it's time to play. Cody and Jake are on their way. With a sniff and a whack, we'll find a clue. Let's solve the puzzle, me and you. Cody's Clues, Cody's Clues. Grab your thinking cap and your dancing shoes with Jake the dog and a big hooray.
Yay!
We'll solve the mystery every day.
Oh, what a goddamn banger.
For this one, we didn't want Blues Clues to copyright us.
Yeah.
So the dog is the one searching for the clues, right? And I'm
Yeah. And you're just the lovable
Giving them-
oomph that goes ahead. And didn't they make a song called Jump? Yes, of course they did. Jump. That has that very long synth keyboard. Dun 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 dun.
we got to start
dun,
making
dun.
that list soon.
No shit. That's
the
why I
yearly end
invited you to the Google Doc
awards.
to do some fucking work. If you notice, it says best of 2025. And I
You did not
invited you
invite me
to
for
it.
that shit.
I did. I sent you the link earlier. I'm going to have to do it again, aren't I? God damn it. All right. Let me do it again.
This is what you said.
You
I've
ready?
not clicked these yet.
Yeah. It's past that. Now you click it. I said, yeah. I had to upload it. Yeah. Yeah. And there's your last one. It was up there too.
Well, are they uploaded yet.
Yeah, because what does that mean? Well, we've got more content. That's right. Thank you, Cody. We've got a great video coming up right after this to go live. When is Liv Morgan returning? We're going to break that down. It's going to be a great time. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us for the latest of UCR. We were kind of all over the place today, but we just wanted to have a blast and spend some time with you guys in the chat. Go ahead and figure out
I see it.
what's going on and what we can manage to do going forward. Also, tonight we have AEW's Full Gear Aftermath. You and I breaking down everything that happened, talking about last night's show, what we liked, what we would have changed, you know, all these sorts of things. So I'm excited to see what they've got for Thanksgiving week this week. Liz will be there in person. She's going to go ahead and let us know. She's going to be like, hey, check this out. I'm there, and here's what happened at not just Dynamite, but Collision as well. She'll be there for us. So make sure you go ahead and check her out in the description box down below. She'll be helping us out. As I said, she'll be there at Dynamite, so I'll be talking to her this Thursday to go ahead and go over our Dynamite review.
Go.
Wednesday into Somewhere Weekly is more of just a Thanksgiving celebration. Tuesday, we've got the community show for War Games. That's right, Cody. We're going to be doing our predictions. Men's War Games, Women's War Games. This Raw coming up will be live for the review. We got to see who gets the advantage on the men's side.
War Games!
But until then, thank you folks so much for everything. So for Cody and myself, we appreciate you all greatly. We're going to head right into Liv Morgan. When, where, how soon, when is she returning? Check out that video. Guys, thank you so very, very much. Like I said, Cody and I follow all our socials in the description box down below. Subscribe, turn on the bell, hit the thumbs up button, and as always, stay sexy.
With Jake beside him, it's so pretty. From Mania talk to Rumble roars, Cody Onetti, let's hear some more. I believe in